afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. This is Auto Detour. I hope you all had a really happy Easter, and I hope that everybody's doing okay during this crazy time. As promised a couple videos ago, we are going to be addressing the leak on Grandpa truck here behind me. If you are new to the channel, behind me is my 2003 Ford F150 sleeper. Single turbo, 76 millimeter on the stock 5.4. Currently pushing, we've hit 10 PSI a couple times now, and that's where boost cut is set. As most of you know, in the last video, we went ahead and picked up the new block for the engine build so that we can really crank up the boost on Gramps. I also have my 2000 Dodge Viper GTS sitting over there. Let me know if you guys want to see more videos on that thing. I've been really cranking out the Grandpa truck videos, but and the Viper's just kind of been sitting in the background. Anyway, this week was kind of a crazy week. I didn't have a chance to really upload. It was my son's birthday, and obviously during quarantine we had to cancel his friend party, which is really devastating when you're a 9-year-old. So we got some friends and family together, and we put together a small little parade of cars and drove by so a lot of his friends could wish him a happy birthday, and that was pretty cool. I'll put a clip of that right here.
Papa! Wait, what?
These birthday parades pop up, and would have invited a lot more people to come, but I'm a little hesitant about throwing my my home address out there for the world to see. So we just kind of kept it small, and it was still really special to him, and I appreciate the people that reached out saying they would have participated, and just know I would have loved that, but you know, we wanted it to be a surprise right in front of the house, so that was fun. In other news, I announced in the last video that these Make 10th Gens Great Again stickers are for sale. Hit me up in my email address in the description down below. They've been selling really well, so thank you to all you guys that have ordered some of those. Without any further ado, this leak needs to be addressed, so let's jump right into it. All right, so here's the best part. Popping the hood on Gramps. There it is. So I did find out that the leak is right down here. And I missed it. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier, but for some odd reason I was thinking it was the AC because it was dripping off of the AC line down there, but it's actually coming from this upper radiator hose. So you have this 90-degree bend down here, which is a bit extreme because this kit was made for a 4.6, which would have brought this turbo down lower, which makes this upper radiator hose go under the turbo inlet here. But since mine's up so high, it's not really necessary, but it's actually leaking from this coupling right here, dripping down the backside and off the bottom of this V. And I don't really know why I didn't see it before, and it didn't leak all the time. Probably because it only leaks when the thermostat is open. So today we're going to be pulling off this intake tube, addressing that leak. I don't know, the worm gear clamps that came with the kit aren't really the best. I do have some new ones because I had to replace a couple when I put the kit on. I actually stripped some out because they're pretty easy to strip out. So there's a reasonable chance that I might have to swap out the worm gear clamp on that coupler. Okay, while we have the intake tube on, we'll start up the engine just for fun so we can watch the turbo spin, because, I mean, why not? While we got it off, it's always cool to see the turbine spin on the turbo there. Another thing that I haven't addressed is I still don't have a mount for the intake tube. I need to fab something up. Right now it's just kind of hanging here. It's not rubbing on anything. It's just kind of resting on this coupler that's leaking anyway, which might be part of the problem, but see how it pushes down on that. So we need to get a bracket made to hold this air filter a little more solid. So that'll be coming up. As for right now, let's get that intake tube taken off. All right, so it's always fun checking out the front side of the turbo. Thing is still just spinning like a top. Not bad for a journal bearing turbo. It is not a ball bearing turbo. When we upgrade the engine, I'm considering upgrading the turbo as well, putting a ball bearing turbo in there. What do you guys think? When I upgrade the motor, should we drop a ball bearing turbo in there? I don't know. They make better noises, that's for sure. Since we put that exhaust dump on there, maybe a ball bearing turbo would spool up a little bit faster and open that dump a little sooner. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. It's all kind of an experiment at this point. I've never done any of this stuff before. So to those of you that guessed that I was leaking coolant, you are correct. But for those of you that said it was from a blown head gasket, that is not the case. It is just coming from this coupler right here. It's leaking down the bottom side and dripping off the bottom of that V there. And I've seen this come up on the Facebook page a few times. People are asking what people are doing for electric fans. CX Racing does sell this shroud and the two fans as a kit by itself. I'm not like sponsored by CX Racing or anything, but it does fit really nice. It drops right into the factory fan shroud location and just bolts right up. Mine did not come with the hardware to bolt the fans to the shroud. The shroud is pre-threaded, but I had to go buy some metric bolts to bolt it up. But I think it's only like 135 bucks on CX Racing's website. So you get that. So I have a thermostatic fan controller. Actually, Eric from Racing Ram Fam gave me this one. I'll put the Amazon link to it in the description down below, along with the link to the electric fan kit. Anyway, got a little sidetracked. Let's check out this clamp here, the worm gear clamp. Make sure it's tight. I don't know why it wouldn't be. All right, let's see how tight this guy is. It's actually a little bit loose. Let's check all these other ones while we're at it. Yeah, I can actually get a few more turns on them. Oh, that one's pretty loose. So I don't know if these are loosening up on their own. I don't remember them being that loose when I installed them. And look at this one. This coupler that came with the kit is actually like weeping coolant. Looks like coolant. It's like weeping it out of the coupler itself, which is pretty strange, and it's kind of drying on the ends. I don't see, well, this one's doing it a little bit, but nothing like that one. That's really weird. So I got these guys tightened up again. I'm wondering if they're just coming loose. We'll kind of monitor that, see if these hose clamps that came with the kit tend to loosen up over time. You know, I haven't put all that many miles on this thing since finishing it, but I'm wondering if the hot cold cycles are causing them to loosen up. I'm not really sure. If that's the case, we might have to go to a better quality clamp, or just ditch this whole multi-piece section altogether and go for a one piece that doesn't really have this big old dip in it. Let's fire up the engine so we can see that turbo spin. And I know this has been bothering some of you guys, and it's been bothering me. We're gonna flip the hardware around on the intake so you don't see the clamps when you open the hood. It'll just be, we're gonna flip them around so you don't see them, so we'll have a cleaner look. I know that's been bothering some of you guys, and I get that. I like the clean look too, so we'll go ahead and take care of that today. And then after I fire it up, I think we should go out and take it for a cruise. It's dark right now. I actually haven't driven the truck in about a week or so. So I think it's time to take it back out on the road and take it for a little rip. Alright guys, there we go. The turbo's spinning at idle. Such a cool thing. I mean, it's barely spinning. It's not spinning real fast, but so awesome to see that. Well, when the truck gets warmed up and at idle, the turbo actually spins a little faster because the oil's warm. And I've had this question asked a few times because as you can tell, we don't have a MAF sensor on the intake like it had stock. So some people were wondering, you know, how I get the truck to run without the MAF sensor here on the intake. Let me go shut the truck off real quick. There we go. Now maybe you guys can hear me. So, you know, obviously I don't have the MAF sensor next to the air filter like the truck did stock. The kit did come set up to use the stock MAF sensor. That was not going to work because the kit actually had the blow-off valve up here and the MAF sensor before the turbo. So the vent to atmosphere blow-off valve, the way the kit came, was actually blowing off metered air, which is no bueno. So what we did, and I had Eric help me, actually cut into the charge pipe a slot style MAF from On3 Performance there. And then we moved the blow-off valve down there before the MAF sensor. Oh, I got a zip tie just hanging out down there. You cut that guy off. So the blow-off valve now is before the MAF sensor, so we're not blowing off metered air when that guy goes. So that's how that's set up for those of you that were wondering. And another little fun fact about Gramps. I cannot get the oil cap off. So when I do an oil change, I have to fill the oil up through the dipstick, and that takes forever. All right, so let's get this intake, let's get this hardware flipped over, get the intake tube put back on. Alright, so now that we got that the hardware flipped over, that's going to look a lot better. This is the bottom side. But looking at the bottom side, I'm going to have to get that bracket made. Really starting to rub into this aluminum intake pipe on the bottom side. And that's not good. That one's getting a little bit deep there. So obviously we don't want to rub a hole in that. And you can see over here, kind of rubbed my air filter before I got it adjusted. That's not good either. Doesn't look like it's through the element there, but definitely messed up the what I would call this wire mesh frame of the filter itself. So I definitely don't like running it all the time without having a bracket to hold this up. And I don't really know how they intended to hold this up in the kit. They may not have thought about that, to be honest, but I'm gonna have to get that bracket fabbed up sooner rather than later, so we don't continue to ruin the bottom side of this intake tube. I don't like seeing that. But let's get this guy thrown back in the truck. We'll see how it looks with the hardware turned upside down. Should look a lot cleaner. There we go. The hardware is finally turned upside down, so we can't see fasteners, just see the bands. But yep, you guys are right. It looks a lot cleaner with that hardware turned upside down. I like that a lot. So I still have not come up with a good solution for mounting this. Maybe I'll come up with something that fits into these stock rubber bushings for the stock airbox, and then maybe just holds up the air filter down here at this end. I think that's probably the best idea. Anyway, we'll come up with a solution for that. It's all put back together, tightened up these hose clamps here. We'll have to see if that stops the leak. Let's go out and drive the truck, warm it up, get some coolant flowing through this upper radiator hose, and see if it's still leaking when we get back. Let's hop in the truck and go for a rip. Let this guy get up to temp a little bit here. It is almost impossible to drive the truck without hearing it spool and blow off just a little bit. I just really can't help myself. We are now up to temp. I don't know if you guys can see anything, but we're getting on the freeway. Let's hit it. Flares on the side of the road. Let's not hit it. That does not look good. That's the exit I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 police cars and a tow truck. That cannot be good. All right, now let's hit it. Coming up to a bridge and a big wall next to us. Holy crap, that sounds amazing. We gotta get back on the freeway going the other way now. Good work as usual, Gramps. All right, so it is the next day. I've been driving the truck around all day, running errands. Let's take a look at the spot on the floor here. This is where it was leaking before, but now it's completely dry. And everything under here is completely dry. So it looks like we've solved the coolant leak. Right here we got a little drop of oil there. Like I said, that oil drain for the turbo, right, oh, where's my finger? Right there. Seems to drip a little bit out of the braided hose. So we can address that, but I'm not too concerned about that. That's the coolant leak I was worried about. And here we have a little bit of condensation dripping out of the wastegate pipe here. As much as I hate to admit it, it looks like the coolant leak on the truck was simply loose hose clamps. I remember tightening those up when we did it. I don't know if they're coming loose. We'll kind of have to keep an eye on that. I'll have to keep you guys updated. I appreciate all of you guys that stick around for all of these videos. Some of the videos we do some awesome stuff, and some of the videos we do a little more of the maintenance, mundane stuff. And I mean, all of it's interesting to me. Just because it's getting out working on cars. So I hope it's interesting to you guys. I really enjoy making the videos and then having the conversations down in the comments. As always, leave a comment down below if you have questions, comments. Love hearing from you guys. Oh, and I got to show you got my sticker on. So there's my 10th gen sticker. I appreciate all of you guys that are already rocking 10th gen stickers. I appreciate you guys helping me make 10th gens great again. Then of course we're gonna have some more videos coming up for the engine build. I think the next steps there is we'll bring it down to a machine shop, make sure the block is good to go, have the machine shop tell us how far over we're gonna have to bore those cylinders so we can order some pistons and rings. Really, really excited to get started on that. Now, that's gonna be a build series. That's gonna take a little bit of time, being that I've never done that before. You guys have given me a lot of input so far on where to go with that, and I appreciate all the info. That's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you guys are all doing all right during this crazy, crazy pandemic. It's just so much uncertainty for all of us. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you next time.